name's Marek. I'm here in the Meander Valley with Scott Atkins talking about his soil moisture probe and how it can help with his on-farm irrigation decision making. So here on site we've got an 80cm soil moisture probe, and that's capturing soil moisture data as well as soil temperature data. We also have a rain gauge on there capturing all our irrigation and rainfall as well. When we look at installing a moisture probe, we always want it to address an issue or a question so we can solve a problem. In this case, it's put into place in a drier than average area on the paddock to try and help Scott irrigate to the best performing part of his paddock. When we think about soil moisture probes, we think about their main role is to help us with irrigation scheduling, but the first and the most valuable thing we can get out of a moisture probe is to get a greater understanding of our soil water movement and how our plants interact with our soil. And once we've got that down pat, once we've got a greater understanding of our soil and a greater appreciation, then we can start dialing down our irrigation scheduling to really get that into the nitty-gritty of it. So how have you used the moisture probe and how has it changed since it first got installed to now, and how you've used the data?
Look, we would follow it. I'd be looking at it every other day, I guess, of seeing what effect an irrigation or a rainfall event has done, how quickly it's dropped off, what it's using a day, when should we be starting to irrigate, how much should we be putting on, how much difference that makes, and then getting appreciation of should we be doing it more regularly through the week, and what effect, I guess, every irrigation is doing for the moisture depth.
Once we've got a bit of data and we've got an appreciation and understanding about the site and the soil and how it interacts with our irrigation, there's some real key points that we want to try and hit to maximise our soil moisture, our stored soil moisture that's come from rainfall. That's when to start irrigating after spring, when to start irrigating after a large rainfall event, when to prolong your irrigations to make sure that we're not making our pastures go from vegetative to reproductive. How have you used the probe data to try and hit those key points?
I think that's going to be how can we use it next year to do that more so, I guess, knowing what we know now.
Yep.
Certainly looking at it in retrospect, we can see after that big rainfall we had event in November, we probably waited too long before we got back into it. We said before, we probably drained a lot of that where we could have been hitting it back sooner than we thought. Part of that was because of drainage issues we had on the other side of the paddock. Be incredibly useful in late spring next year of knowing when to find that point, and that's quite clearly defined. We ought to be able to hit that a lot closer as opposed to just waiting till a neighbour turns theirs on and then jumping on board. I mean, look, there's no maths to it otherwise. Without a probe giving you something with some figures and some basis, we're stabbing at it really.
Kind of hits a nail on the head for a lot of people new to irrigations or soil moisture monitoring is that, and I say to a lot of people when they first start, if you don't make any difference, if you don't change your decision making in the first year, that's fine, because what you gain out of just 1 year's worth, gaining a great understanding, makes a massive difference for the next year.
Oh, it'll be subsequent years, I'm sure, where the biggest benefit will be.
Yeah.
It's an unknown, and you can either have a stab at it, I guess, or we can put some numbers beside it and get something which is quantitative. But I mean, there's a lot of rule of thumbs, and I guess everyone traditionally around here is an inch a week, and it's wait till someone first starts and then sort of and ah, and there's plenty of opportunity to get that fine-tuned with something like this, I guess, which has obviously got cost savings and production benefits. This soil type is completely different to what we have on our home farm, which is big, black, cracking clays. This is a lighter duplex soil, so I guess every soil reacts differently to irrigation, so this sort of sheds a bit of light what it's doing in this exact situation.
I think you hit the nail on the head there when you spoke about rules of thumb. Rules of thumbs are great and plans are great until, like Mike Tyson said, someone punches you in the face. When we talk about rules of thumb, they hold up until you realise that what's going on isn't necessarily what's going in. People say, I don't need a moisture probe, I dig holes. Well, my advice is dig more holes and dig deeper holes. It really makes a difference in terms of going forward and making sure you're hitting those key irrigation points throughout the season. Just using it as a bit of a prompt, as a tool to kind of reinforce what you're already seeing and give you the confidence to do what you're doing. That's what it will come down to. So it just really comes down to you can't manage what you can't measure. Can't you crop him out the